I came down here to make some kind of talking video. Really, I remembered that the flowers got left down here in the basement in the storage room, and they've been in the dark for over 24 hours. So I felt sorry for them, and I came down, and they were okay, except for these guys had closed up. They're probably like, oh, when's the sun coming back out? But I got me a candle here. It kind of keeps my hands warm. I think it's important I think fire is an important element to have in your life on a regular basis. Don't start a fire. Well, if it's a campfire or a fireplace fire, but you should always, have some sort of activity that involves sorry, water, fire, earth, and wind. I guess air. The air could be like oxygenation of your blood, some kind of physical activity, hiking or running, walking. Uh, but a lot of people don't get the fire part unless maybe you're a Rasta man and you like the fire for your ganja. You understand the importance of the fire. If you're a camper, many people like to go swimming in the swimming pool, and I think that satisfies the water. Ouch. Got my thumb burned a little bit. It's like I've got a cup of tea, but it's a cup of fire. But many people, what the heck am I even talking about? That's what this video is going to be about, a bunch of random rambling. Because you need to get out and get the elements all the time. And I think people need to consider grounding more often. If you're not into grounding, I go out. The first thing I do every day when I get home is rip my shoes and socks off and go out back and walk right through the mud and the muck and the chicken poop and everything. I don't care. I don't do it in the winter time when it's snowy, but I go out in the garage, and I think that somehow our garage, I think, is just like being grounded because it just kind of takes the charge out. That's the whole purpose of grounding. People say, well, it's to get in tune with the earth's frequency. I think it's that too, but it's also just to let all the buildup of electrical charge get out of your body. Otherwise, you might get a lot of stiff muscles and, backup of energy, maybe even a seizure or something. I don't know. That's what I was thinking the other day. So get out, go barefoot somewhere. When was the last time for you? I don't know. I hope I don't end up having some big burps with the Pabst. Oh. Anyway, let's see. What do we want to talk about? So I was thinking about YouTube and the algorithm and all this business about, finding your niche and just sticking to your niche. And that's how to be successful on YouTube. And it's like, I'm not a pigeon and I can't squeeze myself into a pigeon-hole. So lately I've been kind of like, you may have noticed, well, I don't just do clawhammer banjo or clawhammer guitar. Sometimes I do some random other stuff. It's because I have many interests and I listen to all kinds of music and I just wanted to share different types of music with people. Because maybe you might be interested too. And if you're not, you don't have to watch it. The thing about YouTube is it kind of teaches you over time that you got to do things for yourself. You can't worry about what other people, what they want or what they think you should do or what the audience wants, because whatever I video I do, some people aren't going to like it. Almost every video, it seems like some people unsubscribe because they didn't like something. Or maybe they just died or something and then YouTube cleaned out the file. I don't know. But I decided that lately I've been thinking I want to do some different types of videos. You know, at the first of the year, I said that was one of my resolutions, was to put out some different types of videos talking about, different talking videos, and I don't think I've done any since. Usually I kind of have a hard time talking to the camera because it's weird, who am I talking to? I talk to myself all day, every day, wherever I go, because I'm always working on a song or a poem. Well, the poems become the songs. Working on the music in my mind, the beats, the rhythms, And so, by the way, oh, never mind. But I talk to myself, and I sing to myself, and I hum to myself, and I'm not always negative. You might think I'm kind of negative, but I think this is kind of an outlet for some of my dark energy. Everybody has to have some dark energy. Like Sigmund Freud said, if I am to be whole, I got to have some dark energy. And I was thinking, you kind of have to be like negative maybe 50% of the time, because everything is yin and yang, A and B, A side, B side, heads and tails. There's always positive, negative, flip side of the coin. It's a universal law we can't avoid, so you can't always be positive. So you got to have some time to be negative. You got to let it out. Unfortunately, a lot of us let it out on our loved ones or our friends or co-workers or whatever. I sometimes think it's better to hate your job than to hate your family or your wife or something, because then, for obvious reasons. So maybe that's why a lot of people hate their jobs, because they got to have some kind of negative outlet. Maybe some people get negative in the middle of the night when they're having a dream or something, but I like to sometimes just rattle off a bunch of negativity when nobody's around, and go out with my bare feet and let it all go into the ground, and just, so that when I come up to a person, I don't just spew a bunch of negativity on them, because I've done that before, and then I feel really bad about it. I came up to a guy one day at work, and he was like, "Hey, he's like, what's happening, Chris?" And I just like, I just started yelling a bunch of negative crap about what was happening in my life, or because I was frustrated about something, I got triggered or something. And he was just probably like, "Oh, okay." So I felt bad about it later, and I've got to go up to him and apologize. Normally, I don't apologize for anything, just because I think everything happens for a perfect reason and perfect timing. But I would like to apologize for anybody that I, dumped a load of negativity on for no apparent reason. They were just walking along having a nice day. And people do that to me all the time, and I'm just like, all right, bro. Nobody wants to listen to it. So it's good to just kind of like go be negative somewhere. We all have to get it out. That's probably why they got those axe throwing places. Go to the axe throwing place, or go chop some wood or something. I don't know. Get a punching bag. Do some push-ups. Maybe that's why a lot of people like to go to the gym, and I don't know what goes through their minds. But anyway, what was I going to talk about? I kind of want to do some different types of videos besides just musical. Sharing some knowledge and experience about different things. And so it might get kind of random, and I apologize. And I just figure, let's do this video, tell people I'm not a pigeon. I can't go into a pigeonhole. I want to make some different types of videos, but I don't want to make different channels. You know, I could have like 10 or 12 different channels with different topics, and it's just not feasible for me. So, pardon me. I was thinking about making some different types of videos, and it might be random. And I figure if you just don't want to watch one of them, or if you're not interested in the topic, then just don't watch it. Maybe some won't get views. I know the algorithm has problems with it. You know, it wants everything to be in one category, one niche. But then the YouTube talking head gurus will say, oh, don't niche down. You know, they change their mind every day. Shorts are bad, shorts are good. Do this, do that. I wouldn't listen to those people, because it's like they're building a channel on everybody wondering how to build a channel, but they never really built another channel, did they? I don't know. Maybe they did. I'd like to see one of them build some other channel. Why don't you build a channel about fishing or playing tennis or something that you do, and see if your advice actually works or not? I don't know. Maybe it would. You know who I'm talking about, I guess, if you watch that stuff. But I came down to get these flowers because I remembered that I left them in the dark. And then I started thinking of a song. Did I already talk about the fire? Yeah, I did. I don't know. I started thinking about a song, and it was called Flowers in the Dark. Well, that was the inspiration. Flowers in the Dark. So I was like, okay, that's like, what are flowers in the dark? That's like talented people that are keeping their talent hidden. And I once heard that if you had a talent and you keep it hidden, it gets taken away from you and given to somebody else. So there's your lesson for the day. But if you want to make up a song called Flowers in the Dark, let me know. I'll listen to it. Let's see. That's probably a pretty long video. I don't know what else to talk about right now. I was thinking, you know, a lot of times people will say, well, do more of these videos and do more of that topic, and this goes along with the same topic that I can't necessarily niche down, because I can't really control what's happening in my life at all times and what kind of things inspire me and inspire a song to happen. For example, let me show you something. I was out digging around in the backyard one day, and I found this piece of wood, and sometimes I like to, you ever stare at like the bathroom tiles or something, and you can see like different shapes and patterns. Maybe there's a demon face, and maybe there's like a mountain or an owl or something. Well, I got this piece of wood, and I get these pieces of wood, and I stare at them, and I see shapes, and then I just kind of like trace it and paint it, and I get a piece of art out of it. Well, I got this piece of wood under the deck. It's a piece of deck wood, and I started staring at it, trying to see what I could see, and I was actually going to paint one thing, and as I go, there's a lot of happy accidents, and something else happened, and this is what it ended up being. So the wood had this grain, and I thought to myself, what I was going to paint was kind of like a scene at Lake Powell, and there's red rock, and then there was water, and there was boats going by, and I think this snake-looking critter, he was kind of a some kind of paint or tar or something fell on the piece of wood, and it made a shape that looked a lot like that. So I just traced it, except for I added the legs. And anyway, as I was going, I just think, okay, paint these lines red, paint these blue. It's starting to look kind of like a deserty lake or something. This is what ended up happening, though, in the end. This is a mushroom cloud. This is some nuclear fallout. This is a red, white, and blue divided country. And the snake, I think it's me trying to get away. Trying to run away. But this is what ended up inspiring the song, and I called it Portent of Doom. And by the way, I started coming up with a new signature for myself, and I'll show you it on the back here. I put on the back. See, it's a hammer, claw, hammer, caress, Portent of Doom. Maybe I'll give this away or something. I don't know. Someday. The next day I woke up and I sat down and I made up that song. The world will be over soon. And I was just as scared about it as anybody. I felt like I was kind of like a messenger sharing a message of what I received, this message on the art, because I didn't want to paint this in the first place. It just kind of showed up out of nowhere. But it could have just been crap that was going on in my mind. Somebody, says quit doom scrolling, and there's a lot of doom and gloom out there right now, but it inspired that song, and I felt like, I think a lot of people right now are worried about the economy and worried about international relationships. So people got scared, but I think right now I don't feel that feeling that I think something happened and something has changed the course of what was going to happen in the future. And I think we're going to be okay now. I don't know what it was, but if you got worried about that message like I did, don't worry as much now. I just got my old-timer knife out of my pocket there. When I was a kid, all the old-timers had this kind of knife. So I went and bought me one not long ago because I want to use it in a video. Can you guess which video it is? I forget the names. This knife is the poker. It pokes through and pierces things. This is like a sheep's foot knife. You can use that if you don't want to cut someone's skin when you're trying to cut off their band-aid or something. And then this one is I forget the name of it. You can use this for like whittling and that sort of stuff. So I had this in that Big 45 short. Why do I do random rap videos and reggae? Because I was listening to those songs and they were going off in my mind, and I felt like doing that, and I thought some people might like it. I listen to a lot of different music. But I got this knife because I want to do Mance Lipscomb Jack of Diamonds. You know how he uses the old-timer knife, the same kind of knife, just as a slide piece on his guitar. So I'm going to do that hopefully pretty soon. I don't know. I hope I didn't say that too soon and that takes a long time, but the reason why I have to do that song is because people keep getting the lyrics wrong. And Mance is kind of upset about it, and he wants me to set it right. So if you want to know the right lyrics, wait for that video to come out and you'll learn the proper lyrics. Alright. What was some other questions or issues I was thinking people were having? I don't know. I'm the one having the issues. Everybody's under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, and some people got a lot of money, but everybody's got a struggle they have to go through. There's an old German saying, jeden Haus hast ein Kreuz. Or maybe it's Kreuzen. I don't know. I can't remember, but it means every house has a cross. And it's the truth. There's nobody out there, I don't care if you think they got it made. They got some kind of problem, some kind of struggle that they have to be going through. And so I hope that whatever struggles you have, just remember, it's making you, it's sharpening your sword. I know people don't want to hear that, but you sharpen your sword. You become a better person for it. And make sure you get out and do some grounding. Bring the fire.